Okay, will this work? If I click, if I hit that. Okay, I think we're actually live now. I think.
We're doing the thing. Oh yeah, it looks live. Okay, I'll do the link.
Okay, finally, Jesus Christ. Sorry.
I
See,
hate
it's,
this
it's
shit.
like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
This
Okay.
is why we don't stream them.
I think that's because they got rid of the legacy streamer because everything has to be modern and everything has to be fucking whatever. All right.
I'm
No,
typing
wait.
everything, right?
I'm sorry. We can't complain. This is about good vibes. It's good vibes.
Oh, did we put that in the link?
Video games and good vibes?
Are we
And it's an
mandated to have
aesthetic
like good
font.
vibes?
Yes.
Is this mandatory?
Yes. You're like the Weird Al album, mandatory fun.
That's a good
Oh.
video games and good vibes.
Anyway, hello. Welcome to Tokyo Podfathers Speakeasy, the third one. We're here. The gang's all here. It's me, 𝓖𝓸𝓸𝓭, but everyone calls me Moz. These guys call me Moz. And Becker's here.
Becker calls you Mose.
I say Mose. You know why I say Mose? Is because of Mosby from Ned's Declassified.
I did know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you have
I
told
love
me that.
Yes.
Love that for us.
It's kind of funny.
So-
Like technically, Mose would be correct because it's 𝓖𝓸𝓸𝓭, but
Mozilla, yeah. I always figured that was the reason.
Oh no, that would make way too much sense.
Fun fact: the stream is only showing my icon and our.
I know. I fixed that.
Oh, that's
damn.
fine.
All about Shaw.
And also, yeah, Shaw's also here.
Oh, hi guys. Hopefully my internet won't betray.
It's not your internet. It's not your fault.
I don't know. I mean, it is technically my internet, but
Really, your ISP.
Oh,
I
this
love
time
his
now.
background this week. This is great.
Thanks. That's my thumbnail for my legendary playthrough of The Last of Us Part 2. It's not actually that good, but
I kind of wanted to watch that. But I'm excited that we can talk about that because we never really have a good opportunity to talk about it.
hmm
But like, I was really curious because I never played the original Last of Us, but naturally I heard everything about The Last of Us 2. So I'm excited that we can get into it after intros and shit.
And yeah, Cindrus is also here.
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, everybody.
And
It's
yeah,
me.
we kind of decided on the themes going into this because a very special thing has happened. So something amazing has happened. Everybody knows about the Video Game Awards. A thing that happens every year that no one cares about. And we, of course, have been selected. We have been nominated for an incredible award, an incredible achievement. We have been selected for we've been nominated for Content Creators of the Year by the Anime whatever awards this was. I don't actually remember.
I think it's the Gaming Awards.
Yeah.
The Gamer Awards.
We're Real Epic Gamer Awards.
Since we're everybody's favorite gaming podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna link it because I don't think Sinra saw it because Maz posted this on Twitter and like,
I saw it when you posted it in the member channel.
oh yeah,
Yes, it was excellent.
yeah. I'm kind of mind blown by this because Maz did such a good job editing it that I guess like people thought we were serious. Like, but and then I felt bad because I thought everyone knew we were joking. But then
Yeah.
I posted it seriously as like #blessed for this opportunity, and we got like genuine congratulations and like warm wishes. And I didn't want to ruin the joke, but then everyone was being really nice about it, where they're like, "Oh my gosh, so happy for you," and I'm like,
How do I bring it to them?
like, thanks, but also please no.
It's kind of funny because I couldn't really do anything about the red sort of gradient that's all over the image. So like I did a really shitty job of painting over it, and I was thinking like, wow, this is a shitty cover up job that I did. But no, everyone's like, oh, I think that. Hang on, I need to put this on stream. But I think that putting Critical and Gouda like actually made it legit for people.
See, I thought like the screeching meme guy would be like a tell all that like, oh yeah, this is the meme, right?
I
No,
fucking
people are
love
like, "Yo, this is
screeching meme
serious."
guy.
That's so funny. That was so funny. And like, I mean, I don't think anyone read the descriptions underneath, like, at all. Then they would realize.
No, they didn't read it.
Like, literally, Gura's is just the letter A.
It's just
I was wondering if there's like an in-joke to people who watch Gura that means something. Or did you just type A? And
So
let it be?
no, that's the first thing she ever said on stream. Like I think she just tweeted that out. Like that was the first tweet she made. And then when she did her debut stream, there was like this like she was like her character model was on screen for a while and she wasn't saying anything. And then you just hear ah, and then so everyone's just like, all right, this is the best thing ever.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's pretty great. I love that for us. Love that we got this opportunity that we didn't actually get. But so apologies.
Like, so I didn't really like follow this very well. I saw it in the Secret General, but like I didn't look at like the reception of it on Twitter. Did people like actually take this seriously?
I think so. Yeah.
They didn't even read any of the descriptions, any of this, and they still like just took it.
Well,
wow.
Some people did, to the credit of like 3 people. But I think I got. I'm gonna double check. I think I got like maybe 30 replies. Like possibly 30.
Wow.
It's hard to tell who's actually serious and who is in on the joke. Because I mean some people are just saying congrats in general. That's and that
fair,
could go either way.
This is a really great way to like spread misinformation. It's kind of impressive how people just believe anything that's posted.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think so. Yeah, I think 3 people noticed, and maybe others did too, and just played along. But you could only really tell from like 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. So, I mean, it was really nice. Like, I felt really thankful that we had so many nice people like wishing us well. But then I'm like, I feel bad
over a meme.
It's really nice that people think that this tiny little podcast is on the same level of 𝓥𝓸𝓫 and Critical.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for thinking we're on that level, and of course, the level of Jack and Core. Please subscribe.
Subscribe to Jack and Core.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
I don't know.
Not the Weeaboo Club. Because fuck
Anybody
those guys,
but the
apparently.
Fuck those guys.
Anybody but the Weeaboo Club. We don't actually hate them. We should say that. We're like friends with them.
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, it's okay. This is Twitter memes. No, but that's so funny because then Jack and Core retweeted it and they're like, thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for the kind words. Like,
yeah.
Everyone took it seriously. Yeah. Yeah, so that was a fun time. So
Jack
sorry
and
if
Core
we
looked
offended.
at that and they're like, oh, shit, did we get nominated?
Yeah.
I mean, shit, did we?
We have like 17 and Cav coming out of nowhere being like, what? Yeah, so that was
now
fun.
that we've
Good job,
been
Moz.
blessed with this honor, it's time for us to earn it.
Yeah, time to talk about video games.
Talking about video games.
Video games. Pretty crazy, man.
I know, right?
Epic gamer time.
I've been known to game once or twice, but no.
I've got game.
I learned not long ago that there is such a website as My Video Game List.
Oh, there is?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it is exactly what it sounds like. It's just a mal where you like rank all of the video games you've ever played.
So have you made one?
I have been meaning to for a while because my roommate did. And she was like, yeah, this is an extremely good way to pass a ton of time if you're aggressively bored. And I was like, I'm aggressively bored all the time.
I do love making lists.
That's weird.
And I love making lists, but I never got around to it.
Oh, I think I might have made one. I might have. I don't know, because I think I did a thing where I tried to make, like, video game, film, TV, but, like, I'm not a gamer. I'm not an epic gamer, I should say. I am a gamer, but I don't do well. So I'm like, I don't really have anything of value to add to this. But I would be interested in yours because you are indeed an epic gamer.
I'm a medium gamer at best.
You can't say that when you have, like, you've had a Smash League.
Yeah, I'm, like, okay.
Oh, that's cool.
You like,
smash?
play? Yeah, he smashes.
I, back in the before times, I went to my local weeklies, and I was okay.
That's cool. Yeah.
The fact that you gather weekly to play a video game makes you infinitely more epic than I. So
I guess when you put it that,
That is
way,
pretty
that's a good
epic.
point.
yeah, yeah, that's like epic gamer levels. So I think that's pretty cool.
Okay. Well, thank you for the kind words.
And-
Honored for this opportunity.
And we have Tay in the chat saying, Sinris is insane. I've seen them at a local tournament. So we have
Yeah.
a cosign that you are an epic gamer.
That's true. The first time I ever met Tay, it was at my Smash local.
Oh my gosh.
Wait,
That's
Matt in
just
real
so
life or
cool.
Matt?
Let's go.
In real life, yeah.
Okay.
Sweet.
When Tay came up, and Shaw did as well for Anime Boston.
Oh.
They came in on the night that the local happens, so I met him
Oh.
there.
Yeah.
Rad.
I did not go to that. I'm sad I could not go to that, but that sounded really fun.
You didn't miss that much.
Apparently I missed you being an epic gamer, so now I can't co-sign this. But
Who do you main?
I main Wii Fit Trainer.
Oh hell yeah, let's go.
they're probably
Yeah.
the most annoying to play against because no
Not
one uses
expecting
that.
that.
Yeah,
No one
I,
expected that.
I used to main my first main in this Smash was Olimar, and then Olimar is just like he's just like the biggest brain character in the fucking game, and it got so like mentally taxing to try to play him at like a high level consistently that I was just like, okay, I've got to stop. I've got to pick up someone else, and I've been playing Wii Fit ever since then.
Nice.
My I barely play Smash. I only have the 3DS version, 𝓤𝓸𝓸𝓭. But I do play. Well, I think my main is Villager, but I do
Nice.
play. My secondary would be Zero Suit Samus. So you know,
Oh, love
that's
that.
quite quite a duo we've got.
Yeah.
I used to main Kirby and Sheik, but like not well, obviously, because I would play as Kirby. But that's like the ultimate normie Smash character. But then I got the new Smash for the Switch, and I've tried to use, of course, Joker and Byleth, but I wasn't sure in the grand scheme of smashing, how do they compare? Because I just play as them because I know them, and you know, like big sword goes boom. But like, how are they viewed among the greater Smash community?
Joker is arguably the best character in the game.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I remember he came out and people were like, "Okay, this is broken."
Yeah.
Mhm.
But Byleth sucks.
That's what I thought.
Not the worst, but pretty bad.
They're just kind of cool with the bow and arrow. That was like
Yeah.
the only cool thing.
Yeah, they're just like oppressively slow.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot fucking move with them.
Yeah.
I'm in this weird boat where I'm like, I'm probably one of the few people who doesn't really have a character they really particularly care about in Smash, despite all the characters that are in it. I guess that's just because I didn't really grow up with Nintendo consoles, so I didn't really like I mean I had the handhelds, but I basically exclusively played Pokemon. So
Yeah.
I feel that too. I feel kind of robbed as a child because I didn't have a Nintendo. And my friend did have an N64, which was really cool, but I didn't have an N64. So I feel like I missed out on so many cool games like Mario, Zelda, Smash, like all of this cool stuff.
yeah,
It's
That's
funny
why-
how like go ahead.
that's why we need Sora and Smash.
I need Sora and Smash. I know that people are like Kingdom Hearts bad, but like he's iconic. He's kind of a dope person. We need that.
I think Sora would have been a fine addition.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because speaking of like games I started with, I mean, PS2 was my first console, and then Kingdom Hearts, I think, was my first big console game. Because, you know, 8-year-old me saw you could play in Disney World. That's all I needed. Bada bing, bada boom. Kingdom Hearts.
The funny thing about Smash is that like the vast majority of the characters in Smash, I've never played a game that they're from, but I've been playing Smash since I was like 10 years old.
Oh,
So
dope.
I'm attached to them all
From Smash.
from Smash.
Oh, that's so cool.
You know, it's like Captain Falcon is like the most iconic character in the game.
Right.
And there hasn't been an F-Zero game since 2004.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually watching the recent Netflix video game. I think it's called High Score. I don't know. But it's on video games and like early video game days, and they go into Captain Falcon a lot, and it's a really interesting story.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't remember it in detail enough to have like cool insights from it, but I'd recommend everyone who's bored, check out that documentary, learn about gamers and being epic, etc., etc.
Don't worry, Shaw. People are too busy hating Fire Emblem to focus on KH, says Collapse Block. That's true. Like, Fire Emblem has like
extremely
10
true.
characters. But the thing is, like, Sora's a sword character, and that's another thing they hate. Every time there's a character with a sword, people are like, oh, no, sword's bad.
Another anime sword boy.
Yeah.
Believe you like our anime swords boy.
That's why my biggest wish for Smash is Neku Sakuraba from The World Ends With You, which I thought would probably never happen because the game is like maybe too obscure. But now that it's getting an anime, that interest has been totally renewed.
Possible.
That is quite dope.
So, are you all familiar with the most recent character to be added to Smash?
I heard who they were. Wait, I'm forgetting.
I forgot who it was.
Minecraft Steve.
Oh, that's
Yes,
yeah.
Minecraft. Let's go.
Motherfucker.
Okay, I thought that was really cool, and I saw people like kind of throwing mini hissy fits, and I was like, I thought you guys reserved this for
Bro, he's
Fire
got, like,
Emblem.
the best animations
Yeah.
in the entire game, bro. Like,
Yeah, it's true.
he looks awesome.
Yeah, it's interesting because like a lot of people are like way too invested in like trying to predict who the DLC characters are going to be and stuff, which leads to all of these like dumbass pissing contests about like who deserves to be in Smash or not.
Yeah.
Like what kind of game like deserves to get representation in Smash and all that stuff. And it's like I can see why people would think that like Minecraft doesn't fit the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody could argue that like if you want to talk about like quote unquote deserving,
Yeah.
like Minecraft is the most successful video game of all time.
Yeah.
And arguably one of the most influential now since it was released.
I kind of thought it would never happen just because it was like the way the character is. I was just kind of like, how the fuck would that even work?
Right,
But then actually, now that I see it, it's like, oh shit, they figured it out. Like Sakurai really is a god for doing this.
It's like Sakurai in his the like Nintendo Direct where he revealed it. He's got this like great deadpan sense of humor.
Yeah.
This little bit where he was like, when he was first approached by like some Nintendo executive to say like, we want you to put Minecraft in Smash, he was like, that doesn't make sense. Like, it's not possible. And he said, and then they looked at me over the top of their glasses and they said, Mr. Sakurai, surely you can find a way to put Minecraft in Smash.
That's so funny.
Now it's here. So he fucking figured it out. He killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's cool. I mean, I think if they're going to do like, they should either make it like the most fun character to play of all time or, do something really iconic or possibly both. But I think it was a cool addition, very outside the box. And I feel like that's a cool way of engaging with something that's really iconic. So
yeah, they've got a really weird play style too.
That'll be cool. Maybe you can main them and throw everyone off their game.
I've tried them out. I like Steve. He's just really hard to play.
Oh yeah.
Just controls in very strange ways. You've got to be like keeping your distance from everyone so you can like mine materials so you can actually use your moves and stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, they did good. I went through a period a couple years ago now, where I was like really into like fighting games of all sorts. Now the only one I still play is Smash, but the other one that I was always a big fan of was Melty Blood.
Oh, I've never played that.
That's the Naziverse fighting game.
Oh my gosh! Wait, how is that? Is that like you actually fight as Saber?
So it predates Fate Stay Night.
Okay.
So it's all like 𝓥𝓸𝓸𝓭 characters.
Interesting.
And in like the later versions of it, Ryogi Shiki is in it too.
Oh, that's good. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That in addition to just like being big me weeb energy, Melty Blood is also like one of the like ancestral grandfathers of the anime fighter genre. There are all of these like fighting game community memes about like grand finals of the Blood tournament is like in the parking lot. Because it was like never actually represented at like the tournaments where people would play like Tekken and Soul Calibur and
Evo,
stuff.
Yeah.
Right. But everybody loved it, and there were always people looking to play it. So you just find like the jankiest Blood setups like scattered all over the venue. That is
What's
a
it
really
called
fun
again?
game.
Melty Blood?
Blood, yeah.
Yeah.
Even the name is, parking lot material.
Yeah, right?
Oh my God. I
The
love
full
this.
title of like the full like final version was Melty Blood Actress Again Current Code.
Oh my God, that's so. Is there a slash in it? Like all type moon stuff?
I think there is somewhere.
Need a slash in the middle. Like melty / blood.
Like .hack sign.
Yeah. Semicolon series.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's no punctuation. It's just all caps Melty Blood and then Actress Again Current Code.
Oh my God. That's actually kind of I'm presuming it's not the most robust fighting game, so I'm presuming a lot. I mean, I'm sure, but that kind of reminds me of like my favorite shitty game. Also, kind of, or it was, I fell in love with it in Sears back when they had TVs and Xboxes
Back
and
when
PS2s.
Sears was a thing.
Back when Sears was in business. And my mom would be looking at appliances, and I'd go play Dead or Alive 3 on the Xbox hooked up to the TV.
Nice.
Hang on, can we? Well, actually, you should finish that, but I have a tangent about that.
Okay, I'm excited. So that's kind of it. Except I fell in love with Dead or Alive 3, and then when Xbox 360 came out, I got Dead or Alive 4, and it became like my favorite game, and I would just play it nonstop. But that can lead to another tangent. I need to hear your Dead or Alive
Okay,
take.
peak 2000s, something I really miss. In-game displays of video games at like Target and stuff.
Yeah.
Those
I love
were
that.
the shit.
Those
bring
were
the back.
So those were a blessing for children.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like it felt like every weekend I'd be dragged to Target by my mom, and then we'd be there for like 2 hours doing what the fuck ever. No idea
Why
what
do
the hell
those
she was
fucking
getting.
moms have to go to Target so often?
I don't know what the fuck.
Oh.
Just go once a month and get what you fucking need. I don't. Well, anyway, but yeah, every time I'd be bored as shit, and I'd be like, "All right, see you later. I'm gonna go play Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness on the GameCube at the game section."
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, that was rad.
Did
and
you
now
did you ever own Gale of Darkness?
No, but I have at least played it because nowadays we have emulators.
That's true. I could probably.
So yeah, Coliseum and Gale of Darkness. I actually like Coliseum. Everyone likes Gale of Darkness more for some reason. I don't know why. I guess just because it's the edgy Shadow Lugia. I will give it credit. Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness is like the most 2005 name I can think of. Definitely a sign of the time. But those are definitely good games. Like I think if you like Pokemon, you should definitely play those games someday.
Interesting.
When I remember being a kid and being like, Shadow Pokemon? That's dumb. This isn't real Pokemon.
So you
But
weren't
now as
into
an
how
adult,
edgy it is?
yeah, as a kid, I was actually really not into edgy stuff.
I think I wasn't too. But then again, I did play Kingdom Hearts. So, everything having a shadow version is like, no, this is the norm.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to me as I got older. I don't know when I got into all the stuff I am now.
No, you know what? I think that's a thing. I think this might be getting too deep for our good vibes, but I think as adults, we're kind of looking for stuff that we didn't experience as kids, because a lot of the stuff I'm watching and enjoying now, I would not have liked as kids, or I just didn't experience that. So I could see you just like not experiencing the edgy stuff and then being like, this is my edgelord time. This is
That
it.
could be. Yeah.
I don't
That's
know
entirely
if I feel
possible.
that way, but I could see what you mean.
It's definitely not everyone. I think it's just a case by case issue. Well, person. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But yeah, I loved having like all the games in the store, especially when that was before video games were definitely like a big blockbuster thing. Like I don't think people took them as seriously or realized that you could advertise them as much.
Right.
So you just see like Yeah, like let the kids play the video games in Sears or Target and see if they'll pick it up from there. So
So that like they'll play the game and then like cry at their parents until their parents get it for them.
yeah,
Because that was the only way you were ever going to sell video games.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was a fun time. I mean, got me invested in like Xbox 360, and then it was really embarrassing because Dead or Alive 4 I think is a genuinely good game that looks good, but naturally the whole franchise is known for the volleyball spin-off with the big boobs and the big boob physics. So
Yeah.
like it's just the big boob game. But I genuinely like the fighting one, and I like the system, but like no one takes it seriously because it's the boob fighting game.
Yep.
But I beat the game, and they played this Aerosmith song, and like the whole last credit was like this cinematic masterpiece to 12-year-old me, and I'm like crying at the ending. Meanwhile, it's the boob fighting game. Like the most embarrassing.
Meanwhile, I'm crying at the big boob fighting game.
I'm just crying at all the big boob fighting game endings. Oh my god. Yeah.
What was all of your first video games you ever owned?
I would like. Okay, so when I first, I didn't get video games until like I was 8 or something, and then all at once I got a PS2 and a Game Boy Advanced SP and that was there was like a whole batch of games that my parents got me and my sisters. I lived with 2 sisters, and yeah, so the 2 that stand out the most, like a lot of them were like they didn't know shit about video games, so they would just get random stuff that's like that they thought we might like. The only 2 I think games that we really kept, which I kept, were Kingdom Hearts, of course, and Jak 2.
Also good,
nice.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
The original Jak and Daxter was one of my first games.
Nice.
Ooh, that's awesome. I think mine was also Kingdom Hearts, and then I think before then I got the Game Boy Color, and I got Silver and Gold.
Nice.
One of my worst memories that I've suppressed for way too long is I got the Master Ball and I used it on a random shitty Pokemon, and then
I used my first ever Master Ball on a Doduo.
Oh my god. That's amazing. I don't remember which one mine is, but I think it was something like on that level. And then I later ran into the legendary Pokemon that I had to catch, and I went through like 50 Great Balls, and I was like, I've made a terrible mistake. I cannot undo this, and this is the worst decision of my life.
I remember very distinctly my first ever Pokemon game was Gold.
Oh, nice.
And in Gold, after you beat the 8 gyms, you beat the Elite Four, or you beat the champion, and then it like opens up like the entire region from the first game that you can go through, and you can do all of those gyms, that Elite Four, that champion, everything. So I had just like moved on into like this entire brand new area for me. And I was on like the new route that just connects between the 2. And I ran into a Doduo, which was a Pokemon that I'm pretty sure I had never seen before. And I wanted it super bad. I thought it was really funny. And
Doduo is really funny.
Doduo is really funny. But I did not have any other Pokeballs in my collection, like in my bag at the time. So the only way I was like, the only way I will ever own this Pokemon is if I used my Master Ball on it. So I did that.
Nice.
And then it didn't take me long to regret it.
The thing is, too, is like this was back before any of us had the mindset of getting either like a video game guide, and there was no internet to look this up on. So from your 8-year-old perspective, this made sense.
Funny enough,
of course.
Even though I had an SP, I didn't get any Pokemon games. Instead, my sister passed down her Pokemon games to me because a long time ago, she lost her Game Boy Color at LaGuardia Airport when we visited New York.
Tragic.
Yeah. So she still had her copies of Gold and Silver, so she gave them to me when I got my Game Boy. So I started with Silver myself, and I didn't really have a lot of those problems.
Destined rivals.
Yeah, and I didn't really have a lot of those problems because she was the she was someone who actually she had the guidebook for
Oh, nice.
for Crystal, which she also lost.
Uh-huh.
But she knew Gen 2 in and out, so it's like whatever I needed help with, she just knew about it. So I didn't quite have the same bad decisions. The only thing I did is that I was the first time I beat the game, I had one Pokemon.
Yeah.
so my 𝓸𝓸𝓭 was like level 50 and everyone else was like level 10.
Did you just like never figure out how to catch other Pokemon?
No, I had other Pokemon in my party. I just didn't fucking use them.
Oh, you just never used them. Oh, that's big. That's big child energy.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. You
I
pick
was
your one
always the
favorite.
kid though who was like every single Pokemon in my party has to be trained to like the exact same level, except
Mhm.
my starter, which is 5 levels above them. That was
That's
always
impressive.
my MO.
Yeah.
Although I remember one of like the most painful moments of my childhood was in Gold again, getting lost in like a dark cave
Yes.
because
Oh my gosh.
I went into it without a Pokemon with Flash and I didn't have any escape ropes and I was lost and wandering around for hours and
Oh.
couldn't find my way out, so I had to reset the game.
Jesus.
Oh my god. I think I remember that when all your Pokemon faint and you can't get out of there and you can't run away at some point. So like they're all fainted. And
Well,
I
no,
don't think
because
they had
the way
save
it works is that like if all of your Pokemon faint, then it will just like teleport you out of the cave.
Oh, it will?
Yeah.
And it will just like
Oh.
bring you back to the last Pokemon Center.
Yeah.
But for some reason just never occurred to me. I was like, the only way out of here is to die.
You took a
So
final
It's all over for
you
me.
could either die in the game or you could die in real life.
Die in real life. Yeah. And I chose to die in real life and reset all of my progress. I probably had like hundreds of hours in that game.
Jesus.
Oh my gosh. I've like cringing from this. It didn't happen to me, but it might as well have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jakers. The true Gen 2 problem. The battery in the cartridge ran out, so you had to order and solder a new one on. Yeah.
Oh, that never happened to
no.
me.
Oh,
That's
you guys
happened to
wanna
all
hear-
of my Gen 2 games.
Wow.
You want to hear the like, okay, I mean, in the, not so grand scheme of things, this is probably the most fucked up thing I've ever heard related to video game and parent interaction with video games.
Oh.
So my fiance had a N64 that he loved and was actively playing. I think he was like 10 or 11 or 12, like in that age range.
Mhm.
He like goes to his grandparents or something for the weekend. He comes back and his N64 and all the games are gone. So
no.
he goes to his dad and he's like, "Hey, where's my N64?" And his dad is like, "Wyoming." And he's like, "What do you mean it's in Wyoming?" He's like, "I sold it on eBay," and just like actively sold it. Like,
Why?
didn't give him money. I don't know. He just sold
Like
his
no, like he wasn't in
N64.
trouble or anything. They just decided
No.
to sell it. They didn't need the
No,
money.
he's just an asshole. Yeah,
They're
he
just like, yeah,
sold it.
fuck you.
Like it was plugged into the TV because he was still using it, and he just sold it and all the games.
What the fuck?
Like
Aggressively bad parenting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
I think that's,
fucking
like,
stupid.
that's like actually like offensive and like probably just the most passive, just the most everyday assholish thing I've heard from a parent doing to their child.
Yeah.
Wyoming is a fate worse than breaking it with a hammer. See, I thought it was leading up to breaking it with a hammer. Like,
No, that would be funny, but like I just love the answer of like, where is it? Not, oh, I sold it. It's the location.
It's in
of-
Wyoming.
But I felt so
why
bad. I was
is
like,
Wyoming?
yo, that's like a dick move. That's just absolutely awful. So I'm curious. We kind of led up to this, and we haven't actually not led up to this. We're still back in Game Boys and PS2s, but
Yo,
Maz, I gotta know about The Last of Us.
Well,
I gotta
hang on.
know.
Yo, Becker, what's up?
What's up?
You vibing?
I am vibing.
Good
So I've been
vibes?
very quiet because I didn't actually play a whole lot of video games as a child.
You've never
right?
really struck me as a gamer. Yeah.
Okay, so I will say that I did have an original Xbox like
cool.
mid 2000s, like long after it was like it first came out, right?
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kind of it.
Hmm.
And I had a Game Boy and a Nintendo 3DS when I was like before middle school, I think. But outside of that, I never like got into gaming a whole lot. But this is like really interesting to hear about all the gaming.
Mhm.
Like, part of me like wants to go back and like like buy myself like a PS2 or something and play like 𝓥𝓸𝓫𝓭 or something just for the fun of it,
Mhm.
because that game looks aesthetic as fuck.
It
But
does.
It's cool.
I I don't know where I would start with gaming, because there's a lot of games out there and there's a lot of consoles out there. So I'm like, where would I really even like start with it? You know?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, that's very real.
that's so true.
You'd probably like Animal Crossing.
It's funny. I probably would like Animal Crossing a lot. I listen to the soundtrack quite a bit actually.
And you
Like,
like
it's
Isabelle.
I do like Isabelle's a very cute design.
And it
Mhm.
is
Like-
peak vibing.
Yeah, like
That game is
I-
vibing.
yeah, I know you'd probably like games that are vibing, and I think Katamari's something like that.
I only know of Katamari because of its soundtrack actually. as
Yeah, I mean
well.
it has one of the most iconic songs ever.
Yes.
Or yeah,
Soundtracks. Yeah.
Katamari is the one where you like roll the ball around and collect.
Yeah.
stuff,
Yes, you
right?
roll the ball, and the ball is like you can stick anything to the ball essentially. So like
Mhm.
it gets to the point where like the scale is like the universe.
You end
I
up like
believe this is
wrapping
the first or
around. You
second
end up
game.
like wrapping the entire level literally around you, and it's
Yes.
like it's fucking crazy. I haven't played it, but I've
Yes.
seen people play it. It's like
you
what the
can do
fuck
this
is
with like
happening?
people
Yeah,
too, and the
same.
people
Yeah.
like scream when you stick them to the ball. It's fucked up.
I've never gotten to play it. It looks funny though.
They did a remaster. They released a remaster for the Switch, and I don't know why they didn't release the other games, because like there's a whole series of them, right? I don't know why they didn't release the other games.
I do remember people being upset about that. Now that you mention it,
Because like I would have totally bought a Switch had like they released all the Katamari games for the Switch. Be like, okay, that seems like it would be worth the investment, right? But they only did it for one game. Maybe they're gonna do the rest of the games, but it doesn't look like there's any signs of that. So I'm like, you know.
yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty dope though.
But yes, the times I have played Switch Smash, I mained Isabelle. So like you are
Ooh,
right
nice.
about that, Mose. And Piranha Plant. And Peach. Those would be my mains.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, I
Isabelle's.
do want to talk about. I do remember like having fond memories of playing like the demos of video games at like Target or
Hell
Circuit
yeah.
City back when Circuit City was a thing.
Oh, I
Like,
remember
I would play a
Circuit City.
lot of.
Circuit City.
I would play a lot of Pokemon like on their like little demo like Game Boy SP. I think it's the SP, right? It's
Yeah.
the foldable one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
yeah.
that was
Yes.
SP. Yeah.
Yes.
I forgot about the Game Boy SP.
Me too.
How?
That
That
shit
was
was
that
cool
was
looking.
that was the Game Boy. Like that was the one you had
Yeah.
to get.
Yeah, no, that was the one I had.
I didn't know
Wow.
until much
For, like,
later
most
that the regular Advance didn't even have a fucking light in it, and I'm like, how did you
Yeah, you had to get an attachment
survive?
for the light.
Oh, I
You had to get
I,
an. Oh,
that's
I actually
right,
owned
I
an
did it.
Advance when I was a kid, and I can tell you, you had to get like attachments for all of this shit. And it's
Yeah.
like, wow,
Yeah,
why didn't it
there's
just
like an
come with the
attachment
thing?
like nightlight you like clipped on to the bag.
Yep.
That's such
Half the time it didn't even really
bullshit.
work.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did I put that thing?
You know, it's funny. Like I had a Game Boy Advance when I was a kid, like a very small child, but I never played like Pokemon on it, even though it was a lot of fun. Anytime I
Mhm.
played Pokemon, like at a friend's house or like the demo version at some like retail store,
Mhm.
I don't know
Mhm.
why my parents were just against Pokemon. I think they were also just they hated anime in general, so they're like, nah, fuck all this. So what instead I would play is like Game Boy Advance versions of like children's movies, right? So like
Oh, sure, yeah.
like
Yeah,
Rugrats games. I played a lot of Rugrats
Did you play the
or like Scooby Doo games as a kid.
Did you ever play the Rocket Power one?
Yes, I
Loved. Oh my gosh. Okay. I love the Rocket Power game and would play it nonstop, but I think there was a glitch in one of the levels and I couldn't get the thing. And I even looked back like 10 years later on like a guide because I'm like, was I just a child being stupid and like couldn't figure it out? And like I
those
think
games were
there was a
so
glitch.
poorly designed. Like it was
Yeah.
just hard to like advance in the game because you don't know how to. Like
Yeah,
there's no like signifier like, oh, you're supposed to do this. I'm like, well, no one told me how to do this shit.
Those
Yeah.
kinds of games can be pretty hit or miss. I remember I had the Treasure Planet game.
Ooh,
And that one was
sounds
pretty good.
lit. That's
Yeah.
a great
That sounds
movie. I love that movie.
I love that movie.
yeah, because there is the whole aspect of was this made poorly because it's like, you know, early
It's a movie
2000s?
tie-in type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, or am I just stupid because I'm a child? You know,
Yeah, that's the thing is like
right.
it could
You,
be
you
either
never
one.
can be sure.
you can never tell until you go back and play as an adult, and then you're like, okay, it's not me, it was the game, or the
Oh
game
no,
is
yeah,
really
the game
easy
was just
and I
a
was
piece of
stupid.
shit.
Yeah, it's like really tough to tell, and I
Oh,
do
yeah.
think the
Oh.
Rugrats one is the case of like their oopsie, not my oopsie.
I will say, like, the one classic Game Boy game I did play a lot of was Mario Kart.
Oh,
that
that's
was
dope.
something I
Yeah.
played a lot. Yeah.
So that
I mean,
was
every kid
that was
had to
another
have
of
Mario
my
Kart.
first games.
Yeah.
The first video games I ever owned, I got a Game Boy Advance for Christmas one year. I believe it had Pokemon Gold, it had Mario Kart Advance, and it had Super Mario Brothers 2.
Ooh.
And
Super Mario
Brothers
Brothers, baby.
Super Mario Brothers. That game was way too fucking hard for me as a kid. Yeah, those were the first original OG ones. And aside from Gold, I don't have a ton of memory of any of them. Except, but when I first like really remember like getting into games, was a couple years later. My family got a PlayStation 2, and the two games we started out with that were the original Jak and Daxter and the original Sly Cooper. And Jak and Daxter, I have very few fond memories of, but Sly Cooper, that's still one of my favorite game series of all time.
Sounds cool.
There's a guy on YouTube whose username escapes me, and I will look it up right now because he deserves it. Who did like a whole series of like multiple hour long like video essays about like the Sly Cooper games.
Oh, cool.
That are really excellent, just fantastic. What's his name? B-Mask. I'll post the
Link him in like video games or something, because I love listening to video essays.
Yeah, we'll do.
At work.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not as long as I remembered. Each one is like 30, 40 minutes.
I mean, if it's a series, that's not bad.
Right. Yeah, I'll link those in general here.
I definitely picked the wrong PS2 mascot franchise to stand though as a kid, because of all of actually, wait, Spyro wasn't PS2, that was PS1. I was about to say like all of them have come back recently except for Jak and Daxter, or at least they never like Ratchet and Clank continued forever, and I did get into Ratchet and Clank when I got a PS3, because the first game I
did like Ratchet and Clank.
Because the first game I got for PS3 was A Crack in Time, and that was good. But I never had Sly Cooper. I had a friend who liked it a lot, though, at least. But
Sly Cooper's like, it's, as an adult looking back, it's like legitimately great storytelling. Like that shit's got character development. It's like at the end of Sly 2, which is the best one in the series, like one of the main three characters like is like crippled in battle against the final villain, and then in Sly 3 he's like in a wheelchair, and like one of the other main three has like left the party out of like guilt over letting his friend like get hurt, and you need to like track him down and like convince him that it wasn't his fault. And meanwhile the other character is like learning to like deal with his new disability and still try to be useful to the team and everything. It's like, it's serious shit.
Damn,
that's rad.
And also just fucking phenomenal games. Tons of fun.
Sorry, I missed the name of it. What games are these?
These are the Sly Cooper games.
Oh yeah,
The games
I never
about
got to play them, but I
a
wanted
furry
to.
raccoon like running around on rooftops.
Ooh, yeah, that one always looked fun, but I never got to play it.
Yeah.
Missing out.
Did either of you ever play Sekiro?
No.
I played Sekiro, but more
Is it Sekiro
likely
or Sekiro? Never.
I think it's Sekiro.
I think you
Sekiro
can
really
get away
played
with
me
either
with
one.
TBH.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
I just know like Ishin, whenever you talk to him, he goes, "Oh, Sekiro." And my roommate and I say that at each other all the time.
Sekiro and the Soulsborne games are just games that I have a lot of fascination and appreciation for, and I will never play them because they're just probably not games that I would want to play.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I actually tried.
It's good to be able to recognize that.
That's how I feel, and I recently tried Bloodborne this weekend, and it was really tough. But I'm just standing around, like, trying not to get killed and looking around at the scenery, and I'm like, this has such a dope aesthetic, but I can't wait to die in 2 seconds when I, like,
Yeah.
trip over my own shoes and get bitten by a dog.
Yeah, like that's the thing. It's like it's very cool aesthetic. And I know it's not necessarily that the games are hard. It's just that you have to acquire certain skills and learn about the like how the game works and things like that. I'm just not good at doing stuff like that. So I would be shit at those games if I played them.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And I would just
Yeah,
get
exactly.
frustrated and throw my controller at the screen and break everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my hottest video game take is that even though Dark Souls 3 is my favorite video game of all time, my hottest video game take is that Bloodborne sucks.
Wow.
I heard the fights that you and 17 would get into, and I
Yeah.
appreciated it because it was like a battle of the minds of like, you know, this is I like this, but I like this, and you guys were both like respectful and had like really insightful takes on why you like one and not the other more or something. Like it was a good discussion, but
I do know
I remember
people,
hearing about that.
I do know people that like really that like couldn't get into Dark Souls, that it suddenly clicked when they got into Bloodborne. So maybe I could understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I tried Dark Souls and it was fun, but I think I just got stuck somewhere. I don't know. It wasn't like overly frustrating. Bloodborne has been moderately frustrating, but I know it's all my fault. And that's how I feel about Sekiro too, where I'm like, the game is fine, but I'm not fine. So, you know, they're playing me. I'm not playing them.
Don't you have
Sekiro?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Sekiro and Bloodborne both like very much have a way they want you to be playing the game. And until that like clicks with you and you start like acting in the way you're intended to, sort of, you're going to have a really rough time.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy because did I tell you guys that I bought a PS4 last year?
Yeah. Well, we at least know about
It's
it.
still on my dresser, unopened. I'm literally looking at it right now. I haven't gotten to playing it because I've just been busy and I've never like. My plan was to buy a second monitor. That way, I have like 2 monitors on my desk. One for like playing video games, and the other for just using as a computer. Right?
Yeah.
I never got around to buying a second monitor, so it's just been kind of sitting there. But I will say I did buy like Bloodborne and like Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 last year when they had that summer sale going on. It was all the games were really, really cheap. However, my PSN account got hacked a couple months ago, and I never got it back. So I'm like sitting there with like $200 worth of games, just not in my reach anymore. I'm like, that's sad, right?
That really blows.
Yeah, it does. Like I tried going to like, so I learned this when I was checking, when I got a text from my bank asking, hey, did you spend $90 on PlayStation? I'm like, no. I was like, okay. So I checked my PSN account. Actually, no, I checked my email. I noticed that Sony sent me an email, and I'm like, well, that's crazy because I haven't used my account since last year. And they're like, well, your password was successfully changed. And I'm sitting there like, I didn't change my password. I'm like, oh, that's a little sketchy. So I try to like, well, how do you like fix your account when you don't have your password anymore? I'm like, I don't know if I don't remember my recovery questions. I'm a little like nervous about that. So I'm just like, I don't know what to fucking do. I haven't had time to like sit down and call Sony about this.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Sony is infamously bad with their security. They are shit and incompetent at it.
Are they? Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
So did you all have PS3?
I did not. Do not feel like I missed anything.
By the way, fam, I'm gonna have to jump off in like 10 minutes.
Okay.
Because I got D&D at 7. But
fair. That's
y'all keep going.
So you probably don't remember the time that PSN got hacked for like 3 months.
I do
I
remember.
remember that actually.
I do.
Was this earlier in the decade?
Yeah, this is like 2010.
Gotcha.
Okay, yeah, I do remember that.
But yeah, PSN was down for like 3 months, and yeah, and the funny thing about it, like, is that when they finally got it back, they made us change our passwords, and the way that like they enforced rules about passwords, it's like it really felt like they were trying to push this on us. It's like, yeah, it's your fault for having shit passwords. So like you would have to, like, they had the most specific rules for making a new password that I've ever seen, where it's like you had to have all of a capital letter, a lowercase letter, a symbol, which nowadays everyone does that. But this was like before everyone was doing that. But also it was like you could only have the same character. Like you couldn't have the same character more than 3 times in your password. You couldn't have repeating characters in your password. It was just like, what the fuck? So I had to make up some completely random password that I never used for anything else ever. And eventually I completely forgot my password, and the email that I used for the account no longer works. So I'm locked out of PSN on PS3 forever. Not that it matters, because I'm pretty sure it's down forever. But yeah.
Yeah. Because like that doesn't even do anything too.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, their database got hacked, and it was there. Like the reason why they got hacked is because they had all of their account information like in a fucking notepad file. It was like hilariously bad.
But even aside from, like a database hack, when like an individual account gets hacked, it's never because someone like guesses the password, because
usually
they do like common, if you're using like one of the top 10 most common passwords in the world, then you're a dumbass and it'll happen.
Yeah.
But it's like people they use like automated things that just run like random strings of digits.
Yeah.
Until they get a hit. It's like putting in, one uppercase, one lowercase, and one symbol does not slow that down at all.
Yeah.
It's like there's a classic 𝓥𝓲𝓫𝓭 comic, where he says like he gives some like ridiculously convoluted password example, with all the different digits and everything, and then he says like, so like something trying to like hard crack a password will get this in like 10 seconds, because it can run through that many combinations of any 6 characters that quickly. And then he says like, but if you made your password correct horse battery staple, A, you don't have to remember a ridiculously complicated thing, you've already memorized it, and B, it's just long enough that they'll never, like, it'll take exponentially far, far longer for it to get cracked.
Interesting.
I have a question, actually. So I've had this PS4 Pro for about a year now, and I don't know if I'm going to actually use it now that like the PS5 is a thing.
Yeah.
Is it possible to trade in my PS4 Pro?
Yeah,
Or
you probably wouldn't get that much money out of it though.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd probably just keep the PS4 at this point, especially because I mean the PS5 is out, but it's not like readily available, and it's not super available for a while.
And
I meant like somewhere down the road kind of thing.
Yeah. And of course we're at the point where it's like, even if you do have it, it's like, what fucking games are you gonna play?
Well,
isn't the PS5 backwards compatible?
It is.
Yeah,
You can play essentially every PS4 game on the PS5.
Yeah.
Minus like a small.
You can't use PS4 controllers for it, right?
No.
You have to use PS5 controllers.
I think so. I didn't check this, but I would assume so.
Yo, shout out to what is it called? Nintendo for being a little bit more backwards compatible with like controllers. That shit's nice. Like you can plug in, as far as I know, you can plug for like say like the Wii, you could plug in like console controllers from like past generations in there, and it would still work.
Yep.
I think the
Which
Wii
is
was
super
backwards
nice.
compatible with GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
Jaker says PS4. Yeah, I can get you $4.
Yeah, basically.
Thanks.
Yeah. But I mean, I got the PS5. I'm pretty happy with it. It's been pretty cool. But as you said, there's not that many like PS5 only games.
Yeah.
So I guess I wanted to ask Cinerus one question before he bounces, unless you have to bounce now. But
I can take a question and then I'll bounce.
You mentioned, and then we can make this a bigger thing. But before I interrogate Maz about The Last of Us, I wanted to ask, what is the best executed game you've played, and what's the most fun? And they can be the same, but I think there's like
that's a good
some
question.
differences.
That's a really good question.
Thank you. Hopefully I didn't put you on the spot too much.
Best executed versus most fun. I feel like for best executed, I want to answer some sort of like, like an indie game or something.
Yeah, for your gamer cred.
For my gamer cred. I think my gamer cred answer is going to be a game called Thomas Was Alone.
Ooh.
I've never heard of that.
Is that a horror game?
Which it is not a horror game.
That's misleading.
It's how do I explain it? It's like all of the character. It's a 2D platformer, where all of the characters are just like different simple shapes, literally just like colored shapes. And you like change control between each of them, and you basically like Tetris yourselves in order to like platformer through the level. But the story of it is about like all of the shapes are like different AIs in like a computer system that have like just gained sentience. And it's about them trying to like navigate through the like computer sphere in order to, I don't know, like maintain their existence past like the bounds that they were intended to inhabit. It's really cool. I liked it a lot. As for most fun game, that's tough. I feel like with video games, there are always like a million billion fucking video games that I played and loved and can never remember.
That's how I feel. I'm like, how many games have I forgotten about?
Yeah, more than almost as many as I've played.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me think about this one.
Okay. Do you guys have any answers?
I think best executed. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting question. I think the most fun game would probably be The World Ends With You. And the execution for that is really good, but there are like some flaws about it. Like there are some features. It's very extra with some of its features, like some of the things that in that game, and some of it like doesn't work all that well. But execution, honestly, like this is a meme answer, but best execution is probably Undertale. Like what that game is and like what it does, it's like you really couldn't have done it any better or any differently. So, and I stand it.
I never got to play it, and I feel like I kind of missed the window, but in a weird way, I feel like since I missed all the hype and potential anti-hype, I'm at like the perfect point to play it.
You can play it at any point. It's
cool.
I tried playing it about 5 years ago, and I got about 20 minutes into it, and I didn't know how to advance in the hallway, so I just kind of gave up after a while, to be honest.
How did you not know how to advance?
I didn't.
Oh,
I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid.
We can fight about Undertale another time because I was really underwhelmed by that game when I played it.
Oh, interesting.
Undertale.
I don't know
more
if
like
it was just
underwhelmed.
like overhyped for me or what, but like it didn't do it for me. I thought it was like really ham-fisted.
Interesting.
You know, I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
I can
Okay, this is probably not the actual real answer, but because I've got to jump off, I'm going to give it anyway for most fun game I've ever played. I'm going to go with Super Hot.
That game looks dope.
Is that
Super
super
Hot
hard game? Is it that like super minimalist looking game?
Oh, I've heard
yeah,
of this. Yeah,
it's like a first-person shooter where all of the enemies are just like
Yes,
red,
this is
polygonal.
I knew which one you're talking about.
Oh, nice.
Yes, that game looks
but
so
the
cool.
concept of the game is like you get hit once, you're dead. And like any enemies will die in one hit. But like the main mechanical thing is that time in the game only advances while you're moving. So you can do like insane slow motion shit where you like shoot someone, like they collapse, their gun flies out of their hand, you throw your like empty gun at another guy, you catch the first guy's gun out of the air, you turn around and shoot another person with it. It's pretty fucking sick.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever quite 100%ed it, but I got pretty close. And it's very, very rare that I've ever like tried to 100% anything.
Nice.
There is also like I don't know if it was like a sequel or just like a little additional content that came out a couple months ago called Super Hot Mind Control Delete that I'd never got around to playing, and I've been meaning to do that. But yeah, that's gonna be my answer.
I really like how this game looks. It looks just so cool, man.
Yeah,
Despite being called Super Hot, it's super cool looking.
Yeah. All right. And with
Well,
that, I'm gonna peace out.
Thanks. Thank
Have
you
fun,
for joining
gamers.
us.
Peace.
Thanks.
Later.
night.
See ya.
You too.
Don't die.
Nice.
Another answer I would probably say for best execution in a video game is Final Fantasy VI. Because
I've heard so much about that, and I'm so like jealous that you got to play it.
it's almost like I don't know how to put this, but like, you know, like Final Fantasy VII is the popular one, and that's like the masterpiece, right? But then Final Fantasy VI is kind of like, it's kind of like, I don't know, the patrician's pick, because it's like it's not as popular, but it's also like just as good.
Yeah.
It's what?
It's the elite gamer pick.
Yeah.
Like normies like Final Fantasy VII, and that's the one that's recognized. But everyone I know who's played more than 3, I'm not gonna say it's like the super like you play more than 3 Final Fantasy games and it's your favorite, but like the people who've truly like checked out the Final Fantasy franchise hold it in very high regard.
Right. I just think something that's really cool about it is that the game's basically separated into 2 parts. There's basically this huge turning point in the middle of the game, and then the entire world changes, and then the whole cast gets split up into various parts of the world. And so like the first half of the game is a very linear story path, but then in the second half, because everything gets broken up, it becomes this thing where it's like a collection of stories instead that lead up to the final arc. And I think that's really cool. It's a game that I really want to replay because I haven't played it in like 8 years.
Yeah, I think I got the emulator version of it, and I think I just got like stuck or something. But I want to go through and play it because I love everything I've heard about it. So I am excited for that.
Sick.
Yeah. Bex, did you have any answers about like fun versus best executed?
I don't know. Well, I haven't played that many games to say like which one is best executed.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess for fun, I'd say like just like any Smash game is probably the most fun I've had with the game. Even if I didn't like care what was going on, I was like, the last time I played Smash, I was high and drunk at the same time. So like, you can imagine the experience that is where you're paying attention to one character, and then 5 minutes later you realize that's not the character that you're playing.
I've had that problem before.
And you're just like, wait, why do I keep falling off the edge? Oh, I'm not paying attention. Who would have guessed?
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Wish I could have seen that.
I do also have a lot of very fond memories playing the Halo series in like grade school. So like particularly Halo 2 and 3. I didn't play Halo 1 as much. But 2 and 3 were like the really big ones in the 2000s, right?
Halo was lots of fun.
That's a very fun like multiplayer game.
I think it was all
you
three
could do that for hours. It was good shit. That and like Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2. Both of those are fun games.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember having a lot of fun with those.
My friend and I used to play Star Wars Battlefront 2. Or not Battlefront. Yeah, both Battlefront 2 and was it like Knights of the Old Republic 2? And for Knights of the Old Republic 2, we put on all the cheat codes. It was a lot of fun when you have all the cheat codes on you're playing multiplayer. Super duper fun, actually. I kind of miss games having cheat codes. That shit is so fun. Fun.
Well,
I don't know why games don't do that anymore.
That leads into, I guess, the most fun I've had with a game, which is, of course, The Sims. Which
you're a big Sim stan.
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing,
if you will.
But I'm a Sim. Yeah, it's never been Sim Shimp King. It's never been the best executed because it's always a race to play as much before it crashes. But I do have tons of fun with it, even from like cheating the hell out of it versus doing like a rags to riches thing where you have no money and you try and get super rich and stuff. But I've always had fun with it, especially Sims 3 was kind of the peak, but Sims 2 was really good too. Like I would play it so much my mom thought I had an addiction, and she was like sitting down 13-year-old me, and she's like, I think you have like an actual problem. And I'm like, no, I don't, Mom. I can stop whenever.
Ooh, did she put time limits on like
It's not
your
a phase,
playtime
Mom.
and stuff?
I think she almost did, but I wouldn't like blow off stuff to play it. It would just be kind of concerning. Like it would be Christmas break and I would be in my back room on my PC playing for like 12 hours straight. And she'd be like, you know,
You know
is it
what video game I actually played a lot of when I was younger?
mhm.
It's not a console game, but I played a lot of RuneScape as a teenager. I spent entire summers playing that game. And
That's
I'm like,
dope.
wow, what a waste of time in retrospect.
I never got to play it, but I hear about it all the time.
So this
Like,
is back when like the game was actually fun. The reason I stopped playing is one, I got other hobbies, namely anime, right?
Right.
And two, it became very easy to like get good at the game, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah.
so for me, I did a lot of skill grinding.
Yeah.
When I was playing, I got like quite a few 99 capes. I don't know if that means anything, but like getting a 99 in a skill means like you basically mastered it.
Right.
Until they gave some skills, I think you can go to 120 for some skills. But basically, grinding your way to level 99 in a particular skill takes a lot of time, right? Which is why it took like a lot of summers to do this. But as the game like updated and progressed, it became a lot more easier to get to that place, I guess. Like there's not as much fun in the grinding of it. It's like, well, you can do this twice as fast as you could before, and it's like it doesn't feel like you earned it as much, if that makes sense. So like that's why a lot of people just started either playing like old school RuneScape or just stopped playing entirely and went to different games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you mean?
Good times.
I think the whole aspect of like trying to feel like you earned something in video games is like an interesting tightrope. Because as we were kind of saying with like the Souls and Sekiro games, I always feel like I definitely earn something when I take down a boss, but I don't really know how much fun it was to kind of earn that, even though I do feel like
the experience of like going through it isn't as fun, but it's like there's a like certain type of satisfaction you get from finally, doing it.
Exactly. And I definitely get it, and I've definitely felt it a bit, but it's also like I'm so bad at video games that I don't know if I can actually like beat those types of games. So when what inspired this question was actually earlier today I put on God of War 4 on the on my PS5, and it looked like really gorgeous, and I kind of started playing it again, and I really started to appreciate not just how great it looks. I appreciated that when it came out, but I mean it looks really amazing on PS5, but just how well integrated all of the training and mini strategies they have are, because I do feel like I earn a lot of the victories, but it also is really fun to progress through the game, and I think the like storytelling and dynamics are really good. So I was playing it and I'm like, I feel like this is kind of the closest I've felt to like, this is a perfect game. Yeah. So that's the origin story of this question.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. Yeah. But unless you guys had anything else to bring up, I wanted to grill Maz about The Last of Us, because
I want to hear about The Last of Us.
I never
the
got
most
to
I
play
know
it.
about The Last of Us Part 2 is Nakey Jakey's video on it.
Yeah, and that's a great video.
I still haven't seen any videos about it. I remember I wanted to like write a review. It wasn't even like going to be posted anywhere besides Twitter, but like I was planning on like writing down all of my thoughts about the game, and then I just like never did that. I only got like halfway into that. And so do you want to know about the first game as well? Is there
I want to know your thoughts on I want to know your thoughts on both of them, and then I want to know your thoughts on like the controversy, but just like essentially everything you can think of.
So the first game is very good. Like that was, I mean, so like I said, I got into, like I was into Jack and Daxter as a kid. That developer 𝓸𝓸𝓭, like I stand them the whole way. Like when I got a PS3, I got into Uncharted. Uncharted's fucking undefeated, and then they finished that generation with The Last of Us, which was like that was like such a mic drop for the PS3. That was the game that was like, all right, everyone else go home. We just fucking made the best game ever. I remember playing. Actually, it's a bit of a funny thing. I didn't get to play it until the next year. I remember I almost beat it. Like I was very close to the end of the game. And it was the day of my graduation from high school. And my mom like had to like tell me to fucking stop so I could get ready for graduation. And I'm like, I don't fucking care. I'm trying to play The Last of Us. Like I don't give a shit about that. Yeah. So I beat it then. I loved it then. And then I replayed it this year in wake of the second one coming out. And the thing is, I was against part 2. Well, hey, I love it now still. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite game or anything. Like I don't know how high on my favorites list it would be, but like it is a good game. I like it a lot.
The Last of Us 2?
No, the first one. When
Okay.
I replayed it this year.
Okay.
And the thing is, I really like that game for being like it felt like its own self-contained story, and I really liked
Yeah.
that about it. So I was totally against part 2 when they first announced it. I was like,
Yes.
I was at least skeptical of it. I'm like, Naughty Dog has like never missed before, so I'm like, they must have an idea for this that will really work. But I was still thinking the first game had such a strong ending that was clearly open-ended for the sake of like, just making you think about it. And I like that a lot.
Artistic
about it.
purposes.
Yeah. So I'm just like, why? Why would they make a part 2? And then the game comes out, and there's such. This is honestly like, it's so weird. Like, if you want to like look at it just as a game, like just playing the game, there's some crazy bonkers shit in part 2 that's like I don't even understand how the hell they like this game is years ahead of everyone else. It has the best AI in any video game. I'm willing to believe that is actually the thing. Like there are so many times like I'd play the game and I'd try to do like a cheap strategy to beat to kill everyone, but they would like totally fucking outsmart me and fucking kill me. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is actually smart. Like, how did they do this? Yeah, it's really crazy the amount of detail in the gameplay for this. So it's like on a gameplay level, it is honestly a really respectable game, but the story is so integral. I'm really fucking tired. I don't know how to talk anymore. My brain is fried. But like the story is so important to the actual experience of the game that it's like you can't ignore it. You can't just put it aside, right? And it's like, again, I haven't seen any videos, so I don't know how people really feel about it. But it's like I know some people are mad about some things, and there are some really petty reasons to be mad. I just think that like. I respect what they were trying to go for, and I think that they just totally failed. I feel like the themes that they were going, like I see everything they were doing. I see the themes, the message they were sending, and all this. I totally see it. I think they totally missed, and the biggest reason why is just because the character writing is just shit in this. It's not as if it's like egregiously stupid. It's just like really boring a lot of the time. Like the characters are just really boring. They're sad or they're angry about something, and it's just like it's just nothing else to it, I guess. And I think that a lot of it is like a lot of the writing is just hinged on the fact that it is trying to convey this emotion. It's trying to express this emotion, and that's like the thing about it. And it's like, the story is about the consequences of these emotions and feeling certain things, I guess. And I just think they didn't do a good job about it for lots of various reasons, I guess.
I think that's the general consensus is like people could see what they were going for, but they just missed the mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big one, this is obviously a spoiler, but it's not like that big of a spoiler because it happens within the first hour or two of the game.
I don't mind if you spoil it. I don't know about Bex or chat. I'm assuming
I don't
chat.
care.
Yeah, chat. Do you mind?
Probably for chat.
We'll wait in a sec because I think everyone knows at this point. But like, yeah, go ahead.
But like a couple hours into part 2 of The Last of Us, the main character of the first game dies. Like, and not only does he die, but he gets like brutally, horrifically fucking murdered by someone, and that's like a new character in part 2. So that was like that was like the big thing, especially when the game leaked and like the story leaked, and everyone was just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, why would they do that? And one of the big things about the whole game is that the first half is you play as Ellie, who's the other main character of the first game. But then the second half is that you play as the new character who kills Joel. And like, the point of that is that they obviously want you to emphasize with this character eventually, and they want you to, like, you know, question like what you're doing as, I guess, the player, or like what the main characters are doing, and like what happened in the first game. But I think that they just do a bad job, because here's the thing: this is not a good character. This new character that they have, as I said, there's a really boring character, and also they did something that's so fucking shitty and made me so mad that I'm like, I don't want to emphasize with you. I want you to fuck off and go away. I don't want to play as you. I don't want to play as this character. And yeah, I think that's where they really failed.
Do you think if they changed the execution of when you play as that character, like say they started the game with you playing as them, and then they did
actually,
the thing?
there actually is a segment in the beginning of the game where you play as her.
Oh, never mind. So that does not do anything. So
yeah. I feel like they could have maybe changed. I feel like if the whole game was about that new character, and then it like eventually, like at the very end of the game, you end up killing Joel, it's like, I feel like that actually would have made a lot of sense, and that would have been like a really interesting twist. Because I feel like my biggest problem is that they already kind of broke that sort of line of empathy, where it's like, I don't care about this character. They did something bad. You know, that's the first impression you're selling me on. So I don't want to like go back and emphasize with them. But I feel like if they made this attempt of making you emphasize with the character and then they do something really shitty, I feel like that could have worked better.
Yeah, like it's kind of tough to, you know, put it back in the glass or something, or like spill, you know what they say about spilled milk, like you can't put that back. So it felt like they needed to reorder events in a way that made it more compelling. Because I feel like you could, I mean, I know of another game that plays around with the perspectives a lot. I'm not sure if it's a spoiler to say it, so I'm not going to say it, but it's a very popular Weeb game that most people have played within the past 2 years, 3 years, whatever. But yeah, I'm not sure if that's a spoiler or not, but like,
I don't think it is, but
okay, I'm not going to go into details, but they do a good job of, you know, switching the point of view character after they've done certain events that would make you not normally sympathize, but they do it in such a good way that you are sympathetic towards them. And they, you know, tie that in a lot with choices. And I feel like, I mean, I haven't played it, so I'm just speculating, but maybe if The Last of Us 2 also had, you know, your decisions in the game impact the ending instead of having it go towards the same ending, maybe that could have also helped bring home the message. But it sounds like they didn't really, you know, want that to happen. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm trying to see if I can find my notepad review that I wrote like after I first completed the game. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I still like in a weird way respect it, because it's like this is honestly like it's clear that they wanted to make a sequel that was like super risky and would piss people off. Like I respect that to some extent.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's like that combination of, you know, I don't like this new character because not only are they boring, but their first impression is bad. But also, this is a game that, like I said, I didn't want this game to happen. I said from the beginning that The Last of Us should have been like a standalone thing that didn't need anything else. I don't think this game like ruins the first one or anything, so that's at least nice. But yeah, I don't know. It's like this is definitely a game that people are going to talk about like forever, like for decades. People are going to, like, 30 years later, people are going to look back at this game and be like, I can't believe they did that. Like, that's crazy or something. Yeah.
Do you think it's going to win? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Do I think it's going to win Game of the Year? I wouldn't be surprised. And honestly, I'd be fine with that, because
Oh, you would?
even though I don't like this game, if we're to look at this objectively and say like what was game of the year, I would say The Last of Us Part 2. Like, what was the game that got the most people talking? What was the game that had the most buzz, the most like everything about it? You know, it was this game. And like I said, even though I think the story is a total whiff, there are some things about this game that are like genuinely fantastic that they absolutely succeeded with. And yeah, I don't think it would be super out of the question to say that it's game of the year.
Yeah, it's kind of like the when Time does like Person of the Year, and they included Hitler, where they're like, they are kind of Person of the Year, even if they're a bad kind of person.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that neutral way of looking at, blank of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really interesting to hear because I kind of want to play the game just because I've heard so much, but at the same time, I don't. But I do kind of want to play The Last of Us 1 because I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah. Yeah, Last of Us
Yeah.
1 is good.
Yeah. But that is kind of sad because I feel like that same reception you had, it kind of reminds me of like Madoka and Madoka Rebellion, even though I think people are a bit more torn on Rebellion. But it does sound kind of like the same thing where a lot of people were okay with Madoka as just like a standalone series. And then they don't like what they did with Rebellion, but they also don't like how it kind of ruined the closed ending of Madoka, the series.
Yeah.
So
Funny enough, I still have not seen Rebellion after all this time.
Well,
After
I do
all
like
this
it.
time-
I think
After all this time, and I got into the gacha that is now dead.
maybe that's what kills it for you. You're like, forget Rebellion. I got into the gacha and that died, so fuck that.
Yeah. Well, no, I'll be fine with the Madoka anime. Tay asked like way at the beginning of the stream. He said, "How do I feel about the English server of Majo Records shutting down?" It's fucking terrible and an absolute complete horse shit. And I'm never going to play a gacha game ever again. I don't fucking care who made it. I don't care what it's like. I know everyone likes Genshin Impact. There's a hot witch lady in it. Very cool. Not fucking playing it. I don't care. I'm not going to put myself through that again.
Like not playing a gacha game is probably the best sense of self-care you can do.
Yeah. I did post something on Twitter like yesterday or something. There was like a really good write-up on Reddit about like what happened with Majo Record like from the beginning, and yeah, it's all true. If anyone wants to know about that.
Interesting.
They're all just posted in video games, actually. I should just do that.
Okay, I'll keep it. I didn't play it, but I'm curious. So
it's not a super long post. It's just like, yeah, here's what happened.
Nice. Well, I'm sorry that your favorite. I don't know how to say favorite video game, but your favorite gacha game got shut down.
The only gacha game I ever played.
Yeah.
But now I did get back into Pokemon Go, because now I have space on my phone for it, and like I've had phases of being in and out of it. Like I played it in 2018 when I first got this phone, and then I got out of it because I like wasn't really that into it. But now they announced that Gen 6 Pokemon are going to be in the game, which means Fennekin is going to be in Pokemon Go. So
nice.
I got to do that.
Nice.
I'm just thinking of that. Like, what's that meme from a store? Like what's that? The most recent. What's that guy's name? Again, it's the meme of Leo DiCaprio like pointing.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that
like,
meme.
Yeah. I can just see Moe's just doing that. He's like, "Yo, that's me."
Yep. It's finally my time. I've been waiting for this ever since the game came out. Fennekin in Pokemon Go. Yeah.
Well, I didn't have anything else, specifically to discuss. We'll have to do another episode because there's so much to talk about with video games, and can bring on more members, talk about more things. But that was all of the, all 2 questions I had. Pretty much got those covered. So, did you guys have anything else you wanted to discuss?
I just came here to vibe, and that's just kind of end up what I do. Well,
that's what you
this
do.
is kind of what I ended up doing.
You're
Yeah.
just vibing.
Nice. Nice.
Any music you've been listening to?
Besides 𝓖𝓸𝓸𝓭, I'm listening to a lot of oldies right now, but I mean that's just what I do normally. So it's like, what else is new? What about you, Mose?
Uh, not anything that I haven't brought up before. Like I mentioned last week that I really like the Bring Me the Horizon EP that came out this
Oh,
year.
you gotta what's the update on those like 30 Razzmatazz albums that you have?
Okay, so so I haven't explained this on the podcast yet. There's this band called I Don't Know How, But They Found Me. That is the full name of the band that I really like. And so here's a thing. Like I used to buy physical albums a lot. I don't anymore. But this band has like a weird meta narrative behind them, basically. And so I found out that the album that they just put out, the version on Spotify is different from the physical album. Like there are extra songs and like extensions of songs that are only on the physical album that like continue the meta narrative of the band. So I'm like, oh well, I want to get in on that. I gotta get that. So I ordered a copy off of Amazon, and then and then I just find this box on my front porch, and I'm like, that's like what the fuck did like I'm just thinking, I'm just like, did someone
You
like
put one album in a box?
Yeah, exactly. Like that doesn't happen. Usually they put that in an envelope. It's addressed to
Yeah.
me, and I'm like, and it you know, it has like the order name on it and everything. So I'm just like, why the fuck is in this box? And why is it heavy? Why is this like a heavy? I mean, it's not really a heavy box, but it's like, what the fuck is in this? Yeah, and I open it and I see 30 albums of it, and I'm just like, no fucking way, no way.
Did you only get charged for one?
I only got charged for one album.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I looked at everything, and it's like Amazon like nowadays they have to like take a picture of like to show proof that your order was delivered to the proper place and all. And so like yeah, I see the picture, and it's like someone just like dropped off this fucking box and like called it a day. Not gonna blame them though, you know, working for Amazon sucks, so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have 30 copies of this one album. And I've been waiting to see if like I would get a phone call or an email or something from like, you know, whoever this case was supposed to be for. Like if they would ever catch on. But no, nothing ever happened. Never. I even like added the singer of the band a couple of times. I'm just like, yo, you lose some albums, buddy? Never responded. So yeah, so I still have them. I actually only have 29 now. I'm down to 29 because I sent one to my mom because it was her birthday a couple days ago. So, yeah. But yeah, they're still just here. I know like I posted this to the band subreddit, and again I added the singer, and a bunch of fans saw it like, what the fuck? And so I've been asked a lot of like I could have one, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just like give them away. I'll probably do that soon. It's a bit of a money issue right now, but I'll get that taken care of. But yeah, like people have asked like if I'm going to sell them or something, and I don't feel comfortable doing that because it's like they're not. I don't feel like they're my albums, you know. Like I bought one, and then I just ended up with a bunch. You know, in a weird roundabout way, it would feel like I'm profiting off of the band itself, and it's like, you know, again, it's just not mine. So I'm just not comfortable with it. You know, and then I'm just not really interested in it. So I feel like it would be a lot better if I just shared them with people who would appreciate them. So yeah, I'll just give them out to fans, whoever asks, and keep a few, hand them out to friends or whatever, or just random people. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Start some on the street. Just start selling it.
No, just throw them out.
Start giving away. Just be like, yo, here you go. I don't have a CD player. I don't care. You're getting the CD anyway.
Yeah, that's the 30 Razzmatazz situation. It's an ongoing situation. We'll update you later.
Need live tweets for this situation.
Oh, I did hear the new Megan Thee Stallion album this weekend.
Yeah.
I was really disappointed by it.
Aw, I like her.
She's cool. She's like really, really cool, right?
Mhm.
But like her album, okay, so here's my thing with Megan, right? Like I like Megan, and I'll always check out a Megan project, but like Megan's been kind of talking about the same exact 4 or 5 subjects for like years now, for like multiple projects, and it's gotten a little stale. I'm not gonna lie, it's gotten a little stale. Like she's cool, but like I wish she would do something a little bit more fresh. I guess. Like
I haven't listened to a lot of her other work, but I feel like that applies to like a lot of artists in general. Like
it does, yes. It does.
Yes.
Like it's my problem with like Cardi. Like I don't even dislike Cardi, but Cardi's
Yeah.
been talking about the exact same thing for years. This is my problem with Nicki. Nicki's been doing the exact same. I'm gonna keep
I
this
think
to
that's
like
why-
female MCs.
I think that's I think this is why they've been kind of like I remember Nicki was really hot when she first came out, and nowadays she's like whatever. I think people were really into Cardi B a couple years ago, and now she's like whatever. Yeah.
I think this applies to like some male rappers I've listened to as well.
Oh,
Maybe
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
like I'm thinking of like T.I. and Ludacris, like just random ones that like they've been doing the same stuff. And I mean, respect, because I think also for Nicki, Cardi, and Megan, like those 4 same topics are obviously what people want to listen to, but it is kind of like, you know, to go to the next level, I'd wish they would talk about something else too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
She does
I know
like
you mean.
anime. We have to stand because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like she's a big 𝓸𝓸𝓭 fan, so yeah.
Is she? That's
He's a big
dope.
JoJo stan too.
That's pretty dope. I didn't know that. I didn't know
She
she
also
was
likes
that
Soul
into
Eater.
it. Ooh, she's
I
like,
learned this the other day. I was watching you know that type, that like genre of content on YouTube where it's like celebrity talks about something for 5
yeah,
minutes,
Oh.
yeah.
where it's like GQ or like
Oh, I love those.
some other kind of yeah.
They're
There's
guilty
like
pleasure.
yeah, it's like so there was one about Megan going like undercover on like social media or something.
Yeah, I love those.
Yeah, and it's like she was like talking for a minute about how much she likes anime, and she just started rattling off just all the shows she's seen or she's watching. And she just
Yeah.
brought up like Soul Eater. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's neat. That's nice.
Respect.
That's cool.
Jaker says, check out The Wilderness. Lots of good stuff. Just put out a new album. What kind of music are they? I'd be interested. Because I'm always interested
So
in finding
when I think
new-
of The Wilderness, I think of like The Wilderness from RuneScape, because that was a thing. Let's see. Wilderness
al-
Band.
Jaker's also mentioned the Sword and Shield DLC has been fine. Sword and Shield is like an entirely different subject that I could go on for an hour about.
There was controversy with Sword and Shield, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I thinking of something else?
No, you're right.
Nope.
I remember there was controversy, but like I didn't know what the controversy was, and I was like, bro, that's a Pokemon game. Like, calm down, bro, please.
Well, honestly, like, just listen to my video about it that I made last year.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a
okay.
good video on it. It's a
Indie
good.
I
rock.
don't
Okay.
remember that video.
Well, it was more
Interesting.
just like a talk that I just kind of made.
Was it a rant?
Yeah, basically. Basically, like, in a way, the long and short of it is that even though Pokemon is like coming out with new games, and it's like, yeah, Pokemon is like always coming out with new games, but it's always like they kind of take away stuff that made past games good. Like they kind of take away good features of the game, essentially. And it's like, even though these are like supposedly such big games, especially now that it's on a big console now, it's like they're treated like they're games made by like 10 people. Like that's what Pokemon is,
Yeah.
basically. And so they end up being these games that feel kind of rushed and lack content, and just aren't like of quality that we feel like we should expect from the series, essentially.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I mean,
You can say that.
you were at least right that it's like, you know, it is a Pokemon game, and at the end of the day, like, there are, I mean, obviously people still fuck, like, in fact, despite the controversy, Sword and Shield, I think, are the second most the biggest selling games of the entire franchise history.
Wow.
So it's
Wild.
like, yeah, fuck everyone who was complaining.
But
But yeah,
yeah,
it's like, you know, it's Pokemon, so it's like you can still get, I guess, what you want out of it if you just want the basic Pokemon experience.
But you
Mhm.
have like a lot of good points. I don't know how much you go into it in detail, if I just know this from like talking to you or if you mention it in the video, but like Pokemon is the highest grossing franchise of all time.
Yeah.
Like out of any franchise that exists, Star Wars, like any franchise, Pokemon is the highest grossing franchise. So you're kind of like, okay, I have some expectations because you guys can afford it. You know you're going to make bank. I expect you to do something that's worth spending money on, and you don't want to feel like they're just treating it as a cash cow when it's something that people are clearly passionate about. Yeah. But
It'd be like that.
yeah, we should do a Pokemon cast. That would be fun to talk about.
Yeah.
Could it be set to Neil 𝓸𝓸𝓭𝓼's song about Pokemon? He has a mashup song. Let's see if I can find it. It's really funny, actually. Let's see. Neil 𝓸𝓸𝓭𝓼. I always have trouble spelling his name. Pokemon. Let's see. I found it. I'm always gonna plug Neil 𝓸𝓸𝓭𝓼's mashup music if I can, because it's one of my favorite things ever. Actually, I love this to death. Not the song in particular, but like the way that he approaches mashup songs is like genius a lot of the time. Like the thing is with him, it's like it's less about being funny, but it's more about like the song actually sounding really good, but also being really funny for whatever reason, if you know what I mean. Like it's like, let's make a really good song first and then like think about how dank it is later on. Like good stuff.
Yeah.
He did put out a mashup album this year. It wasn't very good.
I was gonna say that was the guy. Oh, really?
Yeah, okay. So like in comparison to like past projects, it seems like he puts one out every 3 years. The last one he did was 2017, and the one before that was 2014. But this one seems to be about dreams, and it's supposed to be like a sort of like, I don't even know if like it's supposed to be like kind of feel like a dream, but like a lot of the songs just don't work a lot of the time. Like there's one that I like a lot. It's a mix of like this Talking Heads song and another. Oh, it's also a mix of Rick James Super Freak. It actually works really, really well.
Oh, that's
like
fucking sick.
I'm gonna find it for you. I know it.
I fuck with
Let's
Talking
see.
Heads.
Yeah. It's called Super Killer. It's a mix of a Super Freak and Psycho Killer.
Yeah.
It's actually really, really good. But I guess it just like it's not as funny for whatever reason. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like past albums had like this like energy to them that was like super duper fun. And it's like you could like bob your head to it and be like, yo, this is like super cool. But this one just feels like this album felt like kind of, I hate to use the word forced, but it was like it's not like I feel like the joke is kind of worn off in the 6 years that he's been doing this. At least for me, I've been following this for a long time, but I was just disappointed a lot of the time. No, Fantana was disappointed. But...
Yeah, I remember like the Fantana review came out and people were like really upset with it. I guess.
I think Fantana was on point for the most part. Like it wasn't that funny. Like there's like such better like mashup albums that he's done. Like this isn't even on the same like level as his past work.
I just remember this. I just remember that happening because it was at the same time like he had this string of negative reviews and people were like really
oh yeah, he had that Deftones review.
That was like right after the Deftones review, which was that like I mean I respect Fantano a lot. That is genuinely one of the worst reviews he's ever done. It was just like
I'm trying to think about like what my least favorite Fantano review was. You know, I think it had to be like actually it was one of the first reviews I ever watched from him was this was back all the way in I think 2011. Like I've been following this guy for like way too long.
Wow.
Yeah. So he did a review for Tyler the Creator's Goblin, and that was like one of my favorite albums at the time.
Yeah.
And his review was like just really fucking mean about it. He was like harsh as hell about it.
Honestly, like his old reviews that are negative are like not good.
Yeah, he wasn't good about like some of his more like articulating why he didn't like something.
Yeah, like that's kind of the reason why people are like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy a 6 out of 10. Like that's a meme, but that review was genuinely bad. Like the review's like 5 minutes and he's like, yeah, you know, it sounds really good. Kanye does lots of really ambitious stuff, but I don't like Kanye very much, so it's a 6 out of 10. And it's like, what the fuck? You didn't say anything about it. nowadays, like,
But then he like he redid the review, and he
Yeah.
like I think articulated a lot
Yeah,
better this
that
time around.
was actually
He
good.
actually justified the 6 out of 10.
Even though he says All of the Lights, which is the best Kanye song, he said it sucks. So no, terrible review. Fuck him. Unsubscribed.
Did he like Runaway?
He went okay, so he was harsh on Runaway. He didn't really like how long it went on for.
Okay, then
Like-
it's a bad review. 6 out of 10 review. I don't like it. You should
Okay.
delete his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Here's the crazy part. I kind of agree with him though. I kind of agree with him. Like,
You should
I used
also
to-
delete your YouTube channel. Everyone who disagrees should delete their YouTube channel.
It's crazy because I used to like Runaway, but then like as years went on, I just something about it like made me think, I don't actually enjoy this as much. Like as I go on, and I'm like, can I find the 5-minute radio version or something? Because like I like that one more. But the part where he just starts like talking in auto tune for 2 minutes and I don't know what he's saying is not my favorite part of the song. It's definitely not my favorite part. No.
Oh, I
offense.
like that for the mental breakdown aspect. So maybe
I
I,
do like the
appreciate it
memes
more in the
about it,
2020
where there's like the
aspect.
Elmo like
Yeah,
like
I love the
praising
Elmo.
the explosion. Like yes, that's funny, but I can't sit through the song that much
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah,
That's a song like I definitely don't think it's like one of the better songs from that album, but it's like I'll listen to it if I'm listening to the
Oh
album.
no, there are very much worse songs. The song right after that is actually the worst song on the album.
Which
I
one?
think.
Which
Hell
one?
of a Life.
I actually don't mind that one. I just don't like the ones that are like the long-winded like rap ones that have like 5 features on it and they're all like Rick Ross. Like I
No,
don't like
Monster was
Gorgeous
great.
that
There's like
much.
one or two Rick Ross features. There's
I like the one
there's
Rick
the
Ross
one on
feature on
Monster, and
Yeah,
then there's the
Monster's
one
great.
on Devil in a New Dress. I actually really like Devil in a New Dress.
That's my
Oh,
least
yeah,
that
favorite.
shit's
I'm not a
my
big fan
style.
of. I'm not a big fan of Devil in a New Dress because
That's my
as much as I try to listen to that and Gorgeous, I just kind of like zone out and I stop caring. But yeah, I mean that's for our Kanye podcast, which will happen one day. But
Eventually. The Kanye
Eventually.
The Kanye cast we've been planning for like 2 years.
it's like been a mixture of us not being available and Kanye West not being available to
Yeah.
be discussed.
That was
It's-
actually like I started that, I think. Like, I mean, it was like something that was like we were kind of bouncing around the idea, but then I like was like, yo, I'll actually edit this because it was right after Google Hangouts died. So I was
Yeah.
thinking like I was going to use that as an experiment to test with like new layouts or something, and then
Yeah.
I never did any of that.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
Kanye started doing weird shit. So it's
Yeah,
like
Kanye
okay.
got
Yeah,
really
but Kanye's
weird.
been doing weird shit for like a decade.
But this is presidential weird shit.
Yeah, like it- like-
yeah.
Like we're
And the
really
weird-
into like manic Kanye.
And you feel really weird because I don't know about you guys, just like 2-second thing on him. It's like I always don't know if it's like the time to talk about him with his presidential stuff because I don't want people to think that just because I'm a fan of his music that I endorse what he's doing as like a presidential candidate, which I
Yeah.
definitely don't. And then I don't want to kind of meme too hard about the ridiculous things he says because I've come to really appreciate how he's going through like a mental breakdown and having like mental health issues, and I don't want to make light of that either, but at the same time like so many things he's said have become like iconic memes that I think people kind of poke fun at, but I also don't want to minimize just how unstable he is and like the mental health aspect. So I'm always torn on like how do we address Kanye?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But-
totally understand that.
Yeah, it's like so many like levels of being conflicted, but
I don't like at least with his presidential campaign. That was something that was like, when he first announced it, we were like, "Oh yeah, 2020 is saved.
Yeah.
Kanye's president." But then it was like when he actually
Then he
started
like actually does it.
then he started
2020
talking
rolls
about
back.
things he actually believes in, and it's like, okay, we don't have time for this.
yeah, that's like yeah, no thank you Kanye, we don't need this right now.
Yeah.
But you guys can keep going, but I gotta bounce.
I think we should
Because
wrap
I
this up.
got-
Like it's been almost 2 hours.
Been like
Almost
2
2
hours.
hours. Yeah,
I don't think we have anything else to talk about.
yeah.
Let's just say.
But yeah, thanks to everyone who joined us. Thanks,
Yeah.
Moz, for setting this up.
And failing
Everyone
to
in
do so.
chat, thank you for joining us, Bex, and vibing. Thank you, Craig.
Always
Uh,
vibing.
Thanks to everyone
Thanks,
in
Craig.
the chat.
Honestly, shout out to Craig.
Shout out
Love
to Craig.
Craig. He's been here from the get-go.
Hasn't
Um,
said a whole damn word, but he's the MVP.
Yeah. In
He
the
doesn't have to
future,
say
I guess
anything.
we should ask people in the future for any topics they want us to discuss and do that, like, so then we can have more, we can have more topics to discuss and also, maybe answer questions that people have. So that'd be kind of dope. But in the meantime, thank you guys for letting us ramble about video games, music, and Kanye.
Mm-hmm.
And until then, till next time, have a good night.